Hello, world. What's going on? How are you? My name is Nugs, or CJ, and welcome back. No, not welcome back. This is my second video now, and I want to talk about something that I find interesting. This, uh, this all took place when I was 16, and I feel like I should really share this with you, just because I want to. All right, yeah, this involves me, a 16-year-old boy that's built like a tree and looks like a tree, and a middle-aged woman and her child, right? And of course, a dollar store, and of course, a random person that saved me from the inevitable counters of the inevitable wrath of the Karen. Yeah, this is what my video is about today. So I hope you enjoy. So this whole thing took place when I was 16, 15 probably, and it was summer. It was summer break, right? I was 16, just to clarify that again. And I'm in my room just chilling out, just watching some YouTube videos on my phone for hours and hours on end. And I got bored, right? So I was like, you know what? I want to go to the dollar store today. And I got up, and went to my mom and asked her if I could hey, could I go to the dollar store? And she was like, yeah, sure, that's fine, but just as long as you have your keys, your wallet with your money in it, and all that other stuff, right? And also, don't forget to carry a brick. Yeah, a brick. Parents, if you're watching this for some reason, always tell your kids to carry a brick everywhere they go, for like, for like extra for like an extra security measure. Okay, I'm just kidding. Don't actually tell your kids to carry a brick. Don't do that. Anyway, so after she told me that I could, I basically pretended to be the Flash or Naruto and just ran all the way back upstairs, just all the way back up the stairs to my room, and I whipped on some deodorant, tossed on my clothes tossed on some clothes and grabbed my stuff, and I was out the door. As in out the door, as in I jumped out of my bedroom window and did a quadruple front flip. Then that turned into a sushi egg roll. And then I made my journey all the way to the dollar store. Now, uh, now I'm just gonna go ahead and just put this out there. The neighborhood that my family and I used to live in during that time was like a walking distance, if not, well, it's both. It's both a walking and a driving distance from where we used to live, and these places were like, okay, that's my phone notification going off. Ignore that. And anyway, uh, fuck. It was a distance from like a barber shop, an elementary school, a gas station or two, I don't know, and a few convenience stores and restaurants, I think. So from a walk, so if you wanted to walk there, it would take you 5 to 7.5 minutes just to get there and back home. It just depends on how far you live from those places, right? And it also depends if you decide to drive there. So the choice is pretty much yours to make. So 7.5 minutes later, I make my way to the dollar store, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just get some things that I want, and then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and just look around just to see what they have. right? And I did that. I picked out some stuff that I wanted, and I was looking around the store for a little bit before I checked out. And while I was checking, and while I was just like getting done, like checking out some other stuff, I hear this kid talking to his mom, and this kid was no older than like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, probably. Just doing his own thing, going all like, "Mommy, mommy, 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 I want this, I want this." And then the kid's mom just looked like that she's already been through hell and back with this kid, right? And she's like, "No, Jimmy. No, little Jimmy. We're not getting you that." And like, and okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a question. What would you do if your parents told you no? You, 3, 4, 5, or 6 years old, just been told no by your middle-aged mom. What would you do? I'll give you a second to guess. Okay, a second. Okay, a second has already been up. You throw a temper tantrum, and that's exactly what this kid did. And then the mom was just like surprised for a second. She was surprised, and then, like after that, she was just like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and deal with this like how I usually do all the time. Like that was her thought process. And while she was thinking that, her kid was just going off about, "Mommy, I want it." And then the kid's mom was like, "Well, you know what I want, little Jimmy? Huh? You know what I want, little Jimmy? I want $150 million, but that's not gonna happen." And proceeds to grab the kid by either his wrists or his ankles. And I don't know, keyword, was proceeding to walk out of the store with her kid the way that she was holding him, until she noticed that I was looking. And I was just like, "Oh, fuck." And she was like, "Oh, oh man." She was like, "Excuse me, young man, do we have a problem?" "Huh? Do we have a problem, young man?" And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I am so fucked right now. I am so fucked. I should have stayed home. I knew I should have stayed my little ass home. But on the outside, I was like, no, 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 I don't, there's no problem, no. And then she was like, "Well, I think there is. I think there is. You have a problem with me on the way that I'm treating my child? Well, let's see how you fare. Let's see how you fare when you have a kid. When you're 45 years old, and your kid is just being a little brat." And in my mind, I'm like, huh? What is going on right now? I didn't ask for a conversation. I just want to get the fuck out of here. But then, again, on the outside, I was like, "Listen, ma'am, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry about how you got to this position. But what does this have to do with me again?" And she was like, "Again, kids nowadays. If this doesn't get through your big ass ears, I think you have a problem with me on how I'm raising my child." Sorry, I burped. And as soon as she said that, I was like, "Ma'am, no, I just want to, I just want to get out of here. I just want to go home. And she was like, well, you know what? I don't think I believe you. I'm going to go ahead and call the police and file a report. That you, for harassment. And I'm like, huh? Excuse me? I, huh? How am I harassing you? How does that work? You know, like as soon as she said that, I don't know if there was another person nearby, but at that point I was just thankful, right? I was just oblivious as fuck. But then again, thankful after this like mystery person came out of nowhere and was basically like, "Excuse me, ma'am." Takes off his shades, takes out his lollipop from his mouth, and is like, "Excuse me, ma'am. Do we have a problem?" And then, and then she was like, "Yes, this young man was harassing me for how I'm raising my child, for how I'm treating my child, for being a brat." And then this guy goes, "That's not what I saw. That's not what I saw. What I think I actually saw and what had actually happened was you harassing this young man. Was threatening this young man to call the police on him for doing nothing wrong." And I mean, while he and this woman was just sitting there talking, I was just like, "Thank God! Holy fuck! I'm saved finally." Fuck. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what else he said or what they were talking about, but all I remember was this. The guy was like, "Listen, kid, you go ahead and go home. Go ahead and go home. Don't worry about it. All right." And I was like, "Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna do that." I find like one of the checkout lanes, like one of the open checkout lanes, and like just have like the, to check out my stuff, pay for it, and just basically just pretend to be Naruto once again. But this time, this was a life and death situation, all right? A life and death situation. Okay? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm just getting a little bit too excited and a little bit over dramatic. I should be given a fucking Oscars for this. Anyways, uh, yeah, I basically sprinted all the way home until that sprint turned into a jog, and just like having those events, just like anyway, uh, yeah, I was still thinking about what was going on, about what happened. And the event, and the whole event itself was still fresh in my mind. And I'm like, okay. As soon as I get home, I'm gonna barricade the bedroom door, and I'm not gonna come out until, next Tuesday, right? So, that's what I did. Except for the whole barricading my door thing. I didn't do that. So I ran home, drop kicked the door, drop kicked both the screen door and the front door, super glued it and duct taped it back together, and just basically stayed in my room until the end of the night. Right? The next day comes, my mom's like, I wake up the next day, telling everybody good morning, how are you doing? And my mom asked me, so how was your walk to the store yesterday? And I was like, I mean, as soon as she asked me that, like that moment of last night, of that night, of last night, from all those years ago, just popped in my head, and I was like, oh fuck. You know, I told her what was up. She was like, yeah, okay. I'm just thankful that you came back all right, that you came back in one piece. I'm just glad that you're okay. But I don't think you should. I don't think you should be going up there for a little bit by yourself, at least, not by yourself. And I was like, okay, fair enough, fair enough. And yeah, that is how I had my own little encounter with a Karen, sort of like a fucking pre-made Karen. Like this was like way before. This is like way before Karens became a thing, right? And I was just getting a DLC. I was just getting like a whole DLC access. I was getting access to the whole DLC of the whole of it all. Fuck. Okay, I got the hiccups now. Ugh, fuck. So, again, that was my story of how I encountered a Karen, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.